What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. Matt Farah here, and today's episode is brought to you, as always, by Off the Record. We love Off the Record, and you guys do too, based on the number of emails I get from people who say that they completely got those points off of their record, defeating the government in court and getting those tickets dismissed. I love Off the Record. They're always looking out for me. I have full confidence when I drive on the highway that a qualified legal team in nearly any jurisdiction can look out for me if I get pulled over. So I don't plead guilty. I've got Off the Record, and you can get them too. Go to offtherecord.com/TST. That's offtherecord.com/TST, and you'll get 10% off all legal services using Off the Record. One more time, offtherecord.com/TST. Make sure you do it. Don't plead guilty, and we are looking out for you. All right, on this episode, I have literally just landed back from Spain, and so we are talking about all things 992.2 Turbo S. Also, people are finally starting to ask for refunds on their Tesla Roadsters and a whole lot more. It's a cruise show. Let's do it. But I really have that. I woke up at 4 a.m. Spain time, and it's now 11:10 p.m. Spain time. So that's like, yeah, I got some sleep. I'm like a little loopy and shit.
Yeah,
too,
if you can make
like,
it 6 more hours and go to bed at like 8.
I can. I'll have an espresso and I'll work out, and I can make it till like 9. I'll be all right. But like, yeah, that's a long ways. It was 32 hours of air travel for 34 hours of ground time. Mm-hmm. Which, like, look, there's people who dig ditches for a living, but that's a long way to go for a pretty fucking short period of time, isn't it?
Yeah, but the pictures you sent me, it seemed like one of the better press launches in terms of what you were allowed to do and how you were allowed to drive and how few people there were there. So that's pretty good.
Found myself in quite the situation for the new 992.2 Turbo S. But yeah, you're right, Zach. One of the cooler experiences because, Spain is a fabulous country to visit. Marbella is one of the most fabulous parts of it. The weather was great. It's beautiful. Food is awesome there. But also, it was like the US-UK video wave. So it was me, Jack from Savage Geese, Chris Harris, Tom Ford, Sam Fain, and Jason Fenske.
Wow.
And that was it. That was all. So, like, all right, we each had our own car. In my case, I had 2 cars. I did a coupe and a convertible. No one else gave a shit about the convertible, but I thought it was important to drive the convertible. So I did. So the video is going to be both cars in one. It's not 2 separate videos. The convertible on the street and then the coupe on the track. And then we got... there was so much... The roads are fabulous there, and there was so much track time. We had a Scari, and we had the choice. It was just me and Jack for the afternoon session on the track. Just the 2 of us. So they go, we could split the track in half, and you can each just have your own track, or you guys can just run the whole track together and like stay out of each other's way. And we're like, fucking whole track, absolutely. It's like a 4-kilometer circuit. It's a big track. And we're driving the new Turbo S, which is shocker, fucking so fast, right? And honestly, if we split the track in half, and one half of the track is way tighter than the other half. There's like a big fast open half and then a tight technical. Have you ever been there?
Yep.
You did? What did you drive there?
MC20.
Oh, right.
Stradale, whatever.
Yeah.
The one with the wings on it.
Right,
yeah.
right. It's beautiful, isn't it?
It is amazing. It is amazing. But I could see that if you divided it up, one of you would get all the tight stuff and get to experience rear wheel steer.
That's what happened to me.
The other person would get to have all the fun.
On GTS launch was the same hotel and same track, and we split it up, and I had the tight section, and there were a lot more people. And so if it was share the track with 6 people you don't really know, or have your own little track to yourself for 2 hours, that was a no-brainer. But, like, it was Jack. Like, he knows what he's doing. Like, this isn't problematic in any way. And so it was like, yeah, whole track. And there was, you know, I guess there was just an understanding that the people at this event are trustworthy people and don't need the babysitters. Mm-hmm. Like, so they brought out like some DTM driver whose name I don't know, who was offering lead follow if anybody wanted, or like ride-alongs if anybody wanted. But like I'd been there, so it was literally green means go.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. Open full circuit for like 2 hours. I mean, it was pretty good. Harris. And of course, you know, I didn't, forgive me the sin of not mentioning that Neil Carey was there as well. Because Neil Carey's the other half of Chris Harris, the half that makes Harris look good.
Yeah, it films everything, right.
Yeah. Yeah, you want the video version of Harris, not the reality version, given the choices. I'm just kidding. I love him. But yeah, he was there. He was there as well. And so they were doing their thing, and fucking they went through, I think they went through 2 sets of rears in like 30 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, just doing car-to-car
Yeah,
drifts.
no. I as soon as I got to the track, because I filmed my road stuff first, and they went straight to the track, and they did track stuff first, and then they went out on the road. And by the time I got to the track, I get there and Neil's just standing there looking like sullen. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, Chris has done a tire in 6 corners. I was like, okay. He's like, so now we have to wait like 35 minutes to get a new tire put on the car because he couldn't do like the slow bits first.
That is, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. 6 big fast corners knowing him.
Well, I went out with him, and you know, Chris, he's a very smart guy. He busts his ass. He's obviously a fabulous driver, and you know, very very well respected across the industry by most people, I think. And really, like 10 years ago when we were doing the NBC sports stuff, he was very very helpful to me. And so I was like, all right, Chris, like we're here. Like I was like, I'm getting a little better at the sliding thing, and I was like, just let's go. You know, take me 1 lap, and like you show me like the good spots. And he was like, all right. So let me tell you something. The places that he was doing it is not where the fuck I was doing it. He was 4th gear, 80 to 90 miles an hour, entry speed.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, by the end, I did 1. And it went okay, and I think trying that is where something really bad would happen.
Sure, kinetic energy. Yeah,
and I wasn't ready to keep trying that. But I was doing it in like the 2 hairpins, and he was like on the fucking, you know, all right, fine, that's why he's him.
Right.
But nevertheless, you know, when you have him to show you the slide line, and also what to do specifically with this car to transfer weight, that's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
So the car, there's a lot. There's a lot to it. It is. You can tell it's a .2 because the new front bumper. See the shape of that sort of eyebrow above the grills, as well as the
Looks
vertical
nice.
grills. Yeah. That's how you can tell it's a .2. The lower half of the rear bumper, which I think I have a photo of on the gram, also looks different. It makes the rear of the car look a lot wider. If you ask me, it's not exactly an improvement over the old car, but I think it's a little busy. And I'll have a shot of it in the video. I didn't have one for Instagram. They had us on a stand, the old engine and the new engine next to each other. And dude, the engines are like completely different sizes and shapes. You can't believe that these 2 engines like fit in the same car. The new engine is much shorter vertically and wider side to side. And, you know, because it's the T hybrid, right? So you got the GTS has this 3.6 liter with an electric turbocharger. It's got an E-motor in between the 2 parts of the turbo, and that E-motor can spool the turbo up, making boost at idle as low as idle, and it also harvests energy from when the turbo is spinning and not producing acceleration. The difference between the 911 Turbo is that it has 2 of them. And some other things, but like that's the big one. It's got 2 of these electric turbos. Now, the electric turbos it has are a little smaller. Both the turbine and the compressor are a bit smaller, but they spool up faster. They have a higher top speed, the turbo, the physical turbos, and there's fucking 2 of them. So, it makes 701 horsepower, which is more than the GT2 RS by 1. And 590 pound-feet, and has the widest power band of any 911 ever.
Wow.
Yeah, the torque is like, the peak torque is like 2,200 RPM to redline.
Sure, yeah.
The fucking dyno chart is like insane looking. It also is, I believe, the first, I don't know if it's the first 911 ever, but it's the first one that I can certainly recall, maybe a commenter knows another one, that has a true dual exhaust. It does not have a center muffler collector. So my 718 has a true dual exhaust. So like the left bank and the right bank, those two do not come together. So it sounds really, really different. And in fact, this cabriolet in the photos, this is also a little weird. The new Turbo S has these new shaped exhaust pipes, but optionally you can get the old one. So this is actually a sport design car on this cabriolet. Those are the sport design wheels, sport design front lip, and sport design wing, and then oval tips, which just make it look like last year's car. Then picture the Hurst shifter H. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That H. Picture that outline as an exhaust tip. That's what the standard tips look like. They're kind of weird.
You like them or you don't like them?
Not really.
Okay.
They look a little busy. Folks, today's show is sponsored by Liquid IV, and this stuff has come in handy for me. I brought it to Europe this week. It really helps keep me sort of leveled out when I'm on the air, traveling, not really sleeping great, drinking a little more alcohol than I normally would. Plus, the other day, I found a new use for Liquid IV. I got like a really bad cramp, and Ali was like, chug a Liquid IV and then straight into like a really hot shower, and that totally got rid of my cramp really fast. This isn't medical advice, just a personal story of how I actually used Liquid IV like 2 weeks ago. So it's nice to have that around. It's nice to know it can help boost my hydration and my energy without a crash. I take them all over the world when I travel, throw them in the bag, and they are great. They've got the electrolytes. They've got Live Hydroscience, which is an optimized ratio of electrolytes, essential vitamins, and clinically tested nutrients, turning ordinary water into extraordinary hydration. It provides very balanced energy without the jitters and has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 essential vitamins and nutrients. Plus, Liquid IV is always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So don't let the grind drain you. Ditch the glitch with 0 sugar and 0 crash from Liquid IV. Just tear, pour, and live more. Go to liquidiv.com. That's liquidiv.com, and get 20% off your first order with code TIRE at checkout. That's 20% off your first order with code TIRE at liquidiv.com. Plus, we're also sponsored today by HelloFresh. So nice to see them back. I love HelloFresh, my favorite and the #1 meal kit in America, making home cooking so easy with chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. But this fall, they're serving up even more to love, because this isn't the HelloFresh you remember. It's bigger, with a menu double the size, now with 100 options each week, including seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. Dig into bigger portions that'll keep everyone satisfied. It's healthier. There's over 15 high-protein recipes each week with options like grass-fed ribeyes or lamb chops. HelloFresh now helps you eat greener with new veggie-packed recipes with 2 or more veggies per dish. And it's tastier. Get steak and seafood recipes delivered every week for no extra cost, now with 3 times the seafood options. Savor the season with hearty fall recipes like classic beef chili or honey-glazed pork tenderloin. Discover new seasonal produce produce each week, from leeks to broccolini to Italian eggplant and more. I love HelloFresh because not only do I get that delicious fresh meal that I can cook in 40 minutes or less at home with the exact correct portioned ingredients, but also I can keep those recipe cards and multiply them to make again for big parties and stuff later. The best way to cook just got better, and you can do it too. Go to HelloFresh.com/SmokingTire10FM now to get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/SmokingTire10FM to get 10 free meals and free breakfast for life. And now back to the show. So that's like the main thing, right? There's also, of course, the same gearbox as the GTS, which means there's the PDK e-motor in there. That is also the starter motor and reverse. And because there are now 2 electric turbos, it can generate more power. So the PDK gearbox outputs more power, even though it's the same shit. Same hardware. It's just got more juice flowing to it. Sure. So it outputs more power.
You mean, there's more electricity?
There's more electricity
going to the PDK thing. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
They took them 2 explanations with me as well. I was like, wait, so it's the same e-motor, but it makes more power? They're like, yes, because there's 2 electric turbos now. And I was like, well, what does that have to do with it? It's like they're outputting more power. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. And they can do that without needing a bigger battery. It uses exactly the same battery as the GTS. Small, 1.9. 1.9 kilowatt hour battery is the size of a normal car battery. Like, and also, if you recall, and I actually had forgotten this until I got back there. It just wasn't something I'd thought about in a while. No accessory belt drive. It's on the 400 volt system, so the AC, everything runs off of that, the high voltage hybrid system. So there's no belts. Which eliminates weight and all kinds of other things. And that sort of is why the engine got so much shorter, because the accessories that run on the belt, the block is like flat, right? But the accessories that have to run off the crankshaft need to be like stacked up like this.
To fit in that boot thing.
Now you can just put that shit anywhere. So, and then it has this new PDCC, which this is going to be just a mess of letters. It's EHPDCC. Electro hybrid, whatever. Basically, the 400 volt system can adjust the anti-roll bars and the shocks like super, super, super fast. So the result is, to me, like this gray car that I drove had the best like body control of any 911 I've ever driven over like bumpy, weird roads.
Just because there's more voltage,
so much voltage.
It has more power, so then you can control everything more precisely. Oh wow, okay.
And it has these new super. They are anti-roll bars, but it can like couple them, uncouple them, like partially couple. Like it can adjust them like really, really fast. It's not, the hardware is different from what McLaren does in the 7 Series cars, but the way it makes the car feel is basically the same.
Okay.
So it goes over bumpy shit like a McLaren, which is good.
And in the corners, though, does it stay super duper flat where you don't really feel anything in terms of momentum? And then might be just a byproduct of that kind of system.
No, I don't think so. Like the hydraulic shit in the Panameras and the Taycans, like I asked them, I said, could this engine run the hydraulic suspension? He said, yes, but we would never put that in a 911 because there's not enough feel. And I said, did you ever build a 911 like with a prototype? He's like, well, you'd also have to change a bunch of things because like the way the shocks are mounted and like there's a whole bunch of different stuff. But he said, I drove the Panamera and I drove the Taycan, and like as a luxury car suspension, like that's amazing, but we just would never put it in 911 because you need feel. And so I think it does a good job, actually. It splits the difference between feel and performance. I mean, on the track, like and on the road, like I knew what was going on. It just like didn't beat the shit out of me for a car that is both heavy and powerful. Now, It doesn't have a ton of downforce, so it doesn't need to balance that element of it out.
But so many cars we've driven that have crazy high performance and are heavy are very, very stiff because that's how they control the body, and then you end up with a bad ride. M5.
Yeah, these cars are not stiff. Cool. These are not stiff at all. At least they don't ride. They don't ride stiff. The structures are quite rigid. The 911 convertible is that's a rigid car. You know. Having said that, this Turbo S is the very first 911 to have a curb weight that starts with a 4.
Wow.
Yeah, this one's like 4,011 pounds. And the coupe is 3829.
What was the 992.1's weight?
I don't know. I don't remember, but it wasn't a 4. Yeah, this it's a bit heavy.
3829, the last one?
That's the weight of the new coupe.
Oh, that's the weight of the new coupe.
The new coupe,
okay.
But, you know, on the flip side of that, it is the most aerodynamically efficient Turbo S ever. With those grills in the front that open and the active air. There's like 4 different active aero elements on the car. The other thing I learned in the tech presentation is, boy, is this thing going to be a bitch to fucking service in like 10 years.
Sure.
Oh, God, it's going to be crazy. I really want to sit down with like Batim or one of these guys and be like, listen, how are you going to maintain this car and service it? Like, you know. What is that going to look like? And can you get training on it or what?
I think the answer is yes. There's a guy I follow on Instagram, is a DM buddy, but he was a very high-level tech at an Audi dealership. He's since left to work in an indie shop. But his very funny posts complaining about the training that has to happen every couple months because the tech that keeps just getting jammed into Lamborghinis and Audis is like... It's just so advanced, and it's computer this and it's sensor that, and taking apart 15 different things to get to one thing. So now you've got these probably more complicated, you know, electromechanical sway bars.
Yeah.
And if you want to change out sway bars, why would you? But if you want to, like, how do you do that? Yeah. Or what do you need to remove to get to a simple part? Yeah, it'll be tough.
Speaking of Lamborghini, just a little side note. You see, today they're offering a 10-year unlimited mile warranty.
Yeah.
Listen, folks. A Lamborghini is a very expensive car. But when a company does this, you can get an enormous amount of value out of it. If you buy a Lamborghini brand new and literally drive the shit out of it for 10 years, that's an incredibly good value. I'm not even kidding, because those cars have a floor. If you buy a Temerario, if you get a Temerario right now, okay, it's fucking expensive. It's crazy expensive. It's like $500,000. All right, let's say it's $500,000. It'll be on $50,000 either side of that. You got one you drive it for 10 years. Okay, it's a 2026. It's 2036. So let's look at a 2016 Huracan right now. Even a very high mileage 2016 Huracan would probably sell for over 50% of its MSRP. Even if it had 100,000 miles on it, it would probably be at about 50% of its MSRP. So like if you spent $500,000 and did 100,000 miles and lost 50%, fully under warranty, those are pretty good value miles. You're driving a Lamborghini that entire time. It's still going to look pretty new. Their life cycle, product cycle is 10 years. They'll probably still be selling ones that look like this.
Well, it's like you'd be spending about $25,000 a year, right? So I think if someone's leasing a 2-year lease of, you know, I don't know, an $80,000 car, like what's your payment per month?
Dude, if you're leasing like a $100,000 car, it's like $2,000 a month.
Right.
So like
you're very close.
And a $100,000 car. We're talking about a $500,000 car.
Yeah.
So like, yes, it's a ton of money, but when a manufacturer like Lamborghini does 10-year unlimited mile warranties, if you ever were like, what would it be like to really fucking daily a Lambo? There is a pretty good financial argument that there is no better time to do it than taking better. I sound like I'm doing a commercial. No better time to do it. But like, no, seriously, Ferrari did this a few years ago with the 458.
They did, 7-year warranty. Yeah.
Dude, people made out great.
Well, you also get to enjoy driving the car hard as much as you want. I mean, that's when I heard about the Ferrari thing, that was the most attractive to me, because everybody knows that servicing these cars out of warranty is almost prohibitively expensive, even to many of the people who could afford the payment, like the monthly payment. But if you can get one and then you don't do the stupid thing everyone does where they bubble the car and they're afraid to drive it, just put miles on it and enjoy that.
Yeah. Because the what you will learn is that the miles were cheap. Ultimately, what you get for that car at the other end, with or without extra 25, 30,000 miles, that is a cheap bit of miles.
Well, the math question we might have hopped over is, what is a 10-year-old Lambo worth that also has 100,000 miles on it? You think it's still worth 50% of MSRP, or do you think that's a number usually, for lower mileage cars?
And look, guys, one more break from the show because support is coming in from Quince. I actually did bring the Mongolian cashmere sweater to Spain with me, and it was awesome. The cashmere felt very similar to a very famous brand, a fashion house that my dad used to work for, and I had a lot of cashmere from them, and this was just like it, starting at just $60. There's classic fit denim, real leather, and wool outerwear. It looks sharp and holds up. I'm now looking at that suede trucker jacket, perfect for layering, and it looks casual but put together. By partnering directly with ethical factories and top artisans, Quince cuts out the middleman to deliver premium quality at half the cost of similar brands. That Mongolian cashmere sweater I've got is my go-to for fall, and their linens were awesome for summer and held up to multiple washes really good. Layer up this fall with pieces that feel as good as they look. Go to quince.com/tire for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/tire. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/tire. And now back to the show. No, low mileage ones would be better than that. If you have a 10-year-old Lamborghini, like a 2016, if we spent some time on the auctions, we'd probably do this. And I want to get back to the Turbo S, but just as a thought exercise, maybe I don't want to do it on the show, but maybe someone wants to tell us. And by the way, I could be enormously wrong on this, but I was not wrong about the Ferraris. Everyone who bought a new Ferrari 458 and drove the shit out of it fucking had a great time, and the depreciation was not that bad. There was still a good market for clean, high-mile Ferraris because they would always get the services done and everything too. Like, they'd be taken care of. So where did we leave off? Oh, where it's going to be like to service this car in 10 years, right? So anyway, let's just talk about how it drives. Inside the car, familiar place, everything is essentially the same other than some trim items and stuff, and a nice bit of carbon around the thing. It's obviously, despite the weight, it's just ridiculously fast. But it is so sure-footed. It is so undramatic about how fast it's 0 to 60 in 2.5. Porsche says 10.3 in the quarter. To me, that means race gas and tires away from 9s. Right? They've put in. Did I send you the video? They've put in
some of their quarter time usually like gross weight, where it's loaded with people in bags and
it's like a worst case scenario time. They want anyone to be able to hit that time. Yeah. So I imagine this is a 9-second car. Because it's funny because Porsches are so like serious. They never there's not a lot of whimsy in Porsches outside of like the colors. Like that's pretty much it. Like the engineering of Porsche is very serious. And so, whereas like Ford, puts like silly shit in, like the Fox body gauges or whatever. When I try to tell Porsche that they should do a downloadable car pack for their electric car, they look at me like, why would anybody want their car to feel like a 50-year-old car? And I'm like, oh, guys. But the head engineer for this, they put in a burnout mode.
Crazy.
They can't call it that because Porsche's too serious. So they call it a tire warm-up mode, which is hysterical.
Leaving the pits. That's what it's
Leaving the pits.
Yeah.
And so to do it, you go Sport Plus full off and left foot brake. But before you do right foot gas, like a launch control, you hold both paddles. Then you floor it. The revs come up. You then take your foot off the brake while still holding the paddles. And when you dump the paddles, it goes.
So you're off brake. You're just revving. You're basically doing a clutch drop.
You're doing a clutch drop.
And then it just...
Yeah, okay. Rear-wheel drive only clutch drop.
Very, very cool.
And without riding the brake at all, I made a 100-meter set of 11s. without touching the brakes.
We can't show that right now, can we?
I can't show it.
Okay.
I can't show it.
Because I could airdrop it, yeah.
Yeah, I can't show it now. But it's in the video.
I saw it, and
it's
it was
part
legit.
of the video.
It was very legit.
I hadn't done burnouts in a while. They're pretty fun.
They're very fun.
And it shifted twice while doing the burnout. It was in third by the time I was done. Wow. Yeah. That's really fun. And it took me a couple tries to get. It's a pretty complicated thing to do. It took me a couple of tries to get that shot.
Would it let you do that if you were if you had any angle in the wheel? Like if you're on a tight current, could you do a 180 turn in a burnout, or does it have a setting where only if you're pointing straight?
No, if you have, it's not a drift mode.
Okay.
If you have more than a couple degrees of steering angle, it re-engages the front drive to straighten it.
Oh, right, because otherwise you could crash.
Actually, it's a mechanical front drive in this. They're not doing electric motors at the front yet. Maybe the next generation car will do that, but this one is mechanical. But they said in a dynamic driving situation, only about 5% of the power is going to the front. And he said in like wet mode or whatever, more power goes to the front. It can be, I think they said it could be up to 50% of the torque, but basically, you want this car to feel mostly like a rear wheel drive car, which it really does. It doesn't have the GT3 steering, obviously, and the fucking ADAS comes on every time you start it, which in U.S. cars it will not. It'll just stay in the last setting, but in driving these European cars sucks when you're filming.
Well, is it still 2 buttons away though?
It's in the screen. No, the GT3 has a button for it, and this one is 2 touchscreen taps. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that's the legal minimum in the EU, right?
Yeah. Not Porsche's fault, but it sucks. So look, as it's very fast on the road, but on these, even this photo, that's like, you can tell how huge this car is on this 2-lane road, and that's a pretty open straightaway that we're on.
Yeah, for people listening, not watching, Matt is parked, diagonally across a 2-lane road, and he's taking up almost all of it.
Yeah.
And you can just see how wide the front of this car is. Like if you're in the lane, there's probably not much room on either side.
It's a really wide car.
Yeah.
And
how much wider than 992.1?
It's not that it's any wider than that. It's just the turbo.
Yeah.
It's just still a huge car. I drove the GTS on the same roads. It was a fucking huge car. Yep. This isn't unique to the Turbo S. It's just like 992s are big. On the track, it makes no difference. On the highway, it doesn't really make a difference. But on these windy European back roads, oh yeah, dude, on some of these cliffside shits, if there's a truck coming the other way, you're like, I'm going to drop a wheel in the dirt here. It's, if I was in a Cayman, I probably could have gone quicker on the road sections than a 700 horsepower supercar.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally could not drive the road sections any quicker in this than I could in the GTS.
I was going to ask. Yeah. So let's talk about that kind of comparison. And, are there people that could stretch their budget a little bit from GTS to reach Turbo or Turbo S?
The Turbo S is like 60 grand more than a GTS. Now it's 170 more horsepower. The number of places where that difference is significant is very small.
Sure.
Really, most of the time, it's not a faster car. It does have a little more grunt on the bottom because it's got the 2 turbos, but
negligible.
Not that much.
Is there any difference in steering feel, brake feel, anything tactile besides just, outright thrust?
I will say the suspension on the turbo is more advanced and refined, and the body control is better on the turbo. If you were driving on bumpy roads, the turbo's better. If you are driving long distance highway, the turbo's better. But if you're just Saturday afternoon kind of local canyons, and or you're spending real money, you need to really save to get I would say get the GTS. They're mostly the same. And I don't mean this to be an insult to the turbo. I think most people understand that the difference between 530 and 701 horsepower does not happen below 80 miles an hour.
Yeah, you will not notice.
It happens at the higher end of that.
You know what clarified that for me recently? It was pretty funny. I was in my car coming home, freeway opened up, and I just like dropped the gears. I was like rolling slowly in traffic and got off. But as I was accelerating, I went, is my car broken? And I looked down. I was like, oh no, I'm going 85, and it just doesn't pull that much above 85. But because our press cars were in, all have power numbers starting with like a 4 or 5. You know, we kind of get spoiled by this top end, especially with turbo stuff.
This car is just, it's so fast and so sure-footed that you don't even really feel the speed. The numbers on the dash are just going up so fast. You know, like it's, even on the track, like on the track, this car will make someone who's average into a superhero. That's what this thing does. It will mask minor mistakes. It will recover some things for you if you leave the systems on. It's incredibly forgiving. And you can, if you want, click back over to the yellow one, which was the coupe I drove on the track.
I was just curious real quick. So 991.1 GTS had 430 horsepower, and the Turbo S at the time had 560. So 130 horsepower delta. So we've actually grown that difference.
The delta's even bigger now. Yeah. So on the track, no surprise, incredible competence, right? Like if you want to run a clean, like you have to try to slide it. It won't just step out ever.
Sure.
And unlike the GTS, which I drove the rear wheel drive one on the track, the GTS, you could actually add power early and power out on an exit. In a turbo, you cannot do that. In a turbo, you have to, as Chris says, back it in, which means fucking stand on the brakes and trail brake, and then the back end will just come out on its own.
Right.
And it's a matter of, not fucking it up from there.
And then booting it so you get the wheels spinning fast enough. Yeah.
And actually, if you give about 25% throttle at that point, it will hold a very nice slide, and the front drive will pull just enough to straighten you out. It's quite good. But it won't do shit like that unless you, A, turn everything all the way off, and B, decide that you want to do it.
Right.
It will not do that.
Because otherwise, I'm sure by design, these cars from back in the day had the history, or the myth rather, of like you get on the gas too early, it steps out, a dentist dies.
Yeah.
And so this, as it steps out, all the computers are saying, no, use the front, give it a little torque, and pull that front around. So it's just keeping you going. So
it's, Ascari is a very smooth track. The curbings aren't very hard. There's not a lot of like big impacts. But there's a lot of elevation change and like these sort of like whoop-de-doos, especially in the back section. And when you can get kind of yump it over those, which is really, really fun. But every bump in this car is one down, one up. It's just, there's no extra movements. There's no extra, that was stiff or that was harsh. It's just like, that a bump just happened. But just one, it's really, really cool like that.
How does the ride and control in this compare to Bentley Continental Speed?
That's more artificial and like digital. That's more like a traditional like muscle car dynamics, front engine, rear drive. But it's like pretty soft too. Even in a Sport Plus, a Bentley GT is like pretty soft. You'd probably fucking smoke out a Bentley GT after about 6 laps of Ascari. It would probably not be happy if you were driving it like a shitbag for about 6 laps.
This would be fine.
You could do 50 in one of these.
For sure.
I mean, if you weren't sliding and could keep the tires, keep the tires on it. Yeah.
What mode were you in? Were you Sport Plus stiff on Ascari, or were you running softer suspension?
No, My favorite mode was Sport Plus with the shocks back in Sport.
Okay.
And then PSM off. And then it was like just fabulous. But you can go full Sport Plus on track and it's not abusive at all. Yeah, fine. A lot of wind buffeting with the fucking windows down though. That stinks in the coupes.
Like above
70.
Speed?
It's like 70.
Oh, above 70 is whoa.
Oh, yeah, wind buffeting.
Okay.
Yeah, not my favorite.
I know. Like, I feel like most people driving at 80 miles per hour probably have windows up.
I don't know. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
I know. We are divided on this. Yeah. This and sunroofs.
let's see. What else do I need to tell you about it? I don't know. If anyone's watching the live stream right now and has questions about it now, we can get to those. But obviously, it's insanely fast. It's really expensive. There's a million colors, and but it's not. It's definitely not for everybody, because I just think when it comes to 911s, like, they really do make one for everybody, and like,
they do.
Even though the top this like. There are as a select situations where this is really worth that extra spend over a GTS or an S. I mean, I drove 1,000 miles in an S, Tail the Dragon. Like, I could not tell you. I couldn't tell you with a straight face that had I done that drive in a turbo, I would have had a better time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, genuinely, I think I had exactly the same time I would have had in either car.
I feel like this. I mean, there's so many things like this. Anything mechanical that costs money, but it's like expensive shotguns or something.
Yeah.
I will see people post on Reddit. They're like, "How come people buy these shotguns?" And I go, "Because they don't want to own the same shotgun as you, and it's because they can." And so for this, some people may drive it hard enough to really enjoy that difference between this and a GTS, but most people, they want to have the different badge. They like having the look, the name, whatever, and they just want to have the best one.
They want the top of the line.
They want the top of the line.
And I get it. And the good news is, like, the envelope of talent is just wider than ever before. It's got instant torque off the line because of the e-motor. So when you're puttering around in traffic, the thing is like shifting at 2,000 RPM and like not bogging. And start-stop is like so smooth that you just are like, I'll leave it on now. I'm not going to kill it every time I drive the car. Because, again, there's no starter motor. It's just that e-motor. Just the engine goes from off to on. It's and this is where Porsche always debuts that new technology. Yeah. This is where they take the new technology. It's surprising that it went into the GTS first and not the Turbo S. I would have thought Porsche would have released this car and then done one with one turbo after that.
Good point.
But maybe they wanted to see how people felt about the term hybrid.
That's what I was thinking just now, but maybe I feel like their product cycles are planned so far ahead. If people hated it, could you pivot? I don't know.
They joked during the presentation that their customers do not like the word hybrid.
Oh.
On 911s.
What do they call it now? Electric turbo
assist?
No,
it's fucking T hybrid still, but the customers just don't like that.
I think it's cool. Electric turbo is rad. Cool. It's just a rad technology that exists. Someone in the chat asked, are there any non-performance special goodies that are exclusive to the Turbo S?
Non-performance. That's interesting. The seats have a special insert in the leather that's like a throwback to like the 80s a little bit. That's different. The carbon dash trim is unique to the Turbo S. It's a dry carbon. I mean, there's certainly a couple different like wheel options that are unique to Turbo S.
What size are these wheels? 21?
21s, yeah. P0R tires. I don't know what else. I can't think of anything else that is unique to Turbo S. There's a bunch of I mean, Turbo S comes standard with a lot. It's one of the. It's sort of the hallmark of the Turbo S as an idea. It's supposed to be. It comes with like standard 18 ways, standard full extended leather, standard Burmeister, standard PDLS, like a lot of stuff that's optional in other cars is standard on this car. So
does it come standard with radar cruise control?
I don't know. I would certainly fucking hope so, but I don't know. My car had it. All the cars that were there had it. That's a good question.
Just curious.
But I don't know. Yeah, that would be annoying if you're going to know that. That's a must. It drives me insane that 911s don't come standard.
Well, but not just them. Like we've encountered, you drove that Urus. I mean, we've encountered a number of cars over the years
really
that
egregious.
cost as much as a house and don't come with one of the most convenient inventions of the last 30 years.
The Urus was by far the most egregious example of that. Yeah. So there is going to be a video. It's going to be rather professional, like with writing and stuff by my standard, rather professional.
So I got to edit that on my flight probably.
Shit.
Because it's got to go up Tuesday.
It doesn't have to go up Tuesday. I'm not. I mean, it would be nice.
Oh yeah, it'll be a long flight, but I'll have time. Yeah. If you can get me all the assets before the flight.
Oh, I can give you 90% of the assets today. Okay. I guess that there is a script does help.
Very much so. Yeah.
Okay, that's that. Thank you to Porsche for having me out there, and everyone else for making it fun. Little show and tell. Speaking of Porsche, sorry for the radio people, but I'll try to describe this as best I can. We talked about recently cup holders and my Royal Majesty's cup. Well, there is someone out there who makes, and what's the name of this guy? I gotta say, sorry. I think it's like Kaizen. Sorry.
Camera's okay.
It's fuck.
Every time I see stuff like this, I want to buy a 3D printer.
Yeah, right. Kaizen Engineering, and this is a replacement for my little change tray behind my shifter, and it's a fucking cup holder like the 992.
Whoa.
3D printed.
So does it like notch into there?
Yeah. I have an installation guide right here. But so someone 3D printed that, so now I can put my Porsche fitted cup without it flopping around on my dash. How nice is that?
That's very, very cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So that's like really
fun. We got to
fun.
go test fit this afterwards.
Yeah, the car's downstairs, so we're going to have to...
This is honestly one of the coolest things, not this, but like the use of 3D printers where, to make this before would have been so hard and no one's going to do that. But now people can just like scan the cup holder or the change tray and go, how can I notch this thing in there? And then there it is.
So
it's rad.
Yeah, and so it'll fit the bottle or my...
You got to try your pink cup.
It's meant to fit my pink cup. So I might want to get a little... find a piece of rubber or something to cut out for the bottom.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a spray-in coating or something. That could be risky.
Flex whatever.
Flex seal. Yeah. So that's show and tell number one. And then the Notice guys just sent me this. This is Larry Casilla's watch. This is the Ammo. It's called the Sentinel, and it's in the Canyon family. It's on the Canyon platform. Same case. But how cool is this? Look, this has a rubberized bezel and a rubberized strap, and the idea is it is designed to not scratch a car if you're working around a car.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it'll supposedly, I mean, part of what it does is tell good time, and the other part of what it does is keep you from scratching up a car if you're working.
I like it. Is it rose gold? Almost not quite.
No, this is the case?
Sorry, not the case, but like the hands and stuff.
The hands
they're not just gold. They're not just gold. There's like a hint of something to them, but it looks nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you can get that at Notice's website. Support Larry. It's a steel case, same LJP movement that I use in the other Canyons. It is a destro, by the way. It's a lefty watch because the crown.
I was gonna ask. Yeah,
it's so the crown doesn't scratch. Car as well. It's going at your hand. I actually don't, even though I'm a lefty, I don't have any lefty watches. Isn't that funny? And it's a very pretty dial. It's Larry's like a real black it out kind of guy. So it's a black and rose gold like his 964.
Right. Limited to 100 worldwide.
100 units. So fucking go buy one. They're really cool. If you have all the other Canyons, especially, this is in the fam. And I'm going to wear this one for a while. We'll see how that goes.
Nice and thin.
It is very thin. Yeah. So that's show and tell. We can talk about the refunds for people. Tesla Roadster deposit holders are finally starting to ask for refunds like 8 years later, which I thought was a hilarious, like the fucking Stockholm syndrome of that it. It was Marcus Brownlee did a whole video about
really?
what it. I don't know if it was a video or just a social media post about what it took him to get his deposit back, and it was a real bitch. So now we've got a bunch more people that want it back, and it just made me think. Not just that they took money for a car and never built it, which is crazy. And not just that people waited 8 years to try to get their money back, which is real crazy. Remember all the other things they said this car was going to do?
1.9 seconds, 0 to 60, 250 mile per hour top speed. The big was the rocket thing.
A rocket thruster.
Right, sure, that's legal. That'll work. That'll be fine.
And then there was some compressed air thruster idea as well. Someone said it could maybe fly. There was just sort of a jumping.
I got to tell you, this car had more idea storage space than any car on sale today. It had all the trunk space for ideas.
Yeah. Just how stupid is everybody for believing any of this bullshit?
Well, look, in 2017 or 18, I can see people going, oh, he said it'll be ready next year. This sounds cool. But 8 years on, like, I can't believe maybe people were trying to get their money back 5 years ago. But how long would you be willing to wait after giving them $50,000, by the way?
I mean, maybe two. But like, crimes are legal, is what I'm trying to say. It gets proven every single day. Crimes are just legal. Financial, if it's white collar crime and you're a white person, they're legal. Just get away with it.
Here's a little more detail on how hard it was to get this. This is from Slash Gear, but Tesla said that you could cancel your order anytime, but the website's, quote, manage reservation page had no cancel button and only gave you an email and a phone number. Tesla customers complained that neither contact method yielded a timely response. Only those who were lucky or persistent enough to reach a Tesla rep got through to anyone, and those folks didn't really want to help them. You had to do multiple cancellation requests via different channels, sometimes not even getting a response. Wow.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
And people got their so to put the deposit down, you'd give them $5,000 on a credit card. Then you had to wire them $45,000 within 10 days. People are saying that they got the $45,000 back quicker, but we're having trouble getting the remaining $5,000, or vice versa.
I saw one guy on Reddit. He said, I mean, this was a claim, but said that basically when he called up, the person like didn't know what a Roadster was. The person was like, Roadster? What? Roadster?
Yeah, we don't have that car here. What are you talking about?
We don't make that.
We don't. That's the funniest response ever. We don't sell a Roadster, guy. I'm not giving. Hey, Ted, this guy wants $50,000 back for the Roadster. We don't even sell a Roadster. We don't sell a Roadster, guy. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Jeez, can you imagine someone who's worked there for 6 months because there's turnover and they're like, I've never heard of this car. There's no Roadster production line. I'm looking at the floor right now.
2017. I was in high school.
If there was a Roadster plant, I would have heard about it. I'm the head of product. Fuck.
Yeah, that's fun. Should we go to the people?
Yeah, we can go to the people.
Let's talk about the people's thoughts on the Patreon. Patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where you ask questions for the show. Also, where you get what was I saying? Extra show. Sorry, I think this is time. The flight is catching up to me. It's where you get extra show. It's where you catch the live stream. It's where you get exclusive access to merch collabs and other stuff, and where you get an ad-free listening and watching experience. Can you punch in, Zach?
Oh, yeah.
Because I left my glasses in my
I have
suitcase.
the bad eyes as well.
Charlie Fenning says, I've been driving a... Oh, wait, hang on. All right.
It's a lot.
You bolded some stuff. It's a lot of words. I've been driving a Volvo V60, and because of ongoing issues, Volvo is going to buy it back. I don't want to lease anything, and nothing excites me, and it seems silly to throw away this capital that Volvo is repaying. I'd love an RS4, but I'm not sure I can put as many miles I need on that. What else for $25,000 to $45,000 used should I look at? I could use a wagon or SUV as I'm in the furniture business, but would consider a sedan with folding rear seats, and I'll rent a pickup truck when needed. You are a Golf R customer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You could probably get one new.
That's a really good car.
You could get a new Golf R. For that. I mean, almost a new Golf R. I think after taxes, it would be more.
Look up the measurements, but like my dad has a V60. I think it's a 2020 or a little older, but the trunk is not huge. So I don't think a Golf R will be that. I don't think you'll lose that much room. And I think the roof shape and the back glass shape is actually better.
Yeah.
So I would look that up.
Yeah.
You could also look at the 328i, the diesel that Vinny had.
Oh, yeah. The
Great,
F80
car.
328D Sport wagon.
Yep.
That was lovely. Those are nice.
That was a really nice car.
Yeah. Johnny E.V. Gierberman, why didn't Lincoln get a Mach-E? Is Lincoln I don't know. Do they not have an electric crossover? I guess they don't. Do they? Is there an electric like Nautilus or something, or the Corsair? Wait, go back to the. Someone says I thought I saw Corsair. Livermore Lincoln. Is this from a dealer? 3 new fully electric Lincolns by 2025. I mean, I would be shocked if there isn't a Lincoln that uses
They have a Nautilus hybrid,
yeah,
Corsair Grand Touring, and an Aviator Grand Touring.
Okay, so they kind of do. It's not a Mach-E, but like you don't need to make like just badge engineer that. They could just. Nate Johnson says. Okay, last episode we talked about a loaded Accord versus an entry level Lexus. Makes me wonder, would you take a fully loaded RAV4 hybrid versus an entry level RX 350H or Lincoln Corsair?
My wife literally did that. I mean, yes, we always talk about this. Get the nicest version of the model versus the least nice version of the upper model. Because otherwise, like, why do you want to drive around an expensive badge but a car that has no features?
I agree with you, except there are times where getting the better car is like a Japanese crossover from the Toyota Corporation. Yes, I'd want a fully loaded RAV versus a base Lexus. But would I want a fully loaded Mustang versus a base Cayman, or a base Boxster, whatever? Like, there's times where you can get like in my opinion, what is a better car, for similar money.
That's true.
In this specific example, I'll take the RAV4. Uli Kunkel's Autobahn, best camera setup and way to mount them for recording fun weekend drives. I mean, just one of the consumer grade, people like the DJI action cams. A lot of people like those now. We still use GoPros and they're fine.
People like the Sonys a lot too.
Yeah.
I do think if you have a really good mount, the iPhone dynamic range and stuff, and the audio capture of the iPhone is the best I've experienced out of any of the action cams. I mean, don't put it outside the car, obviously. And the Meta glasses I have, I'm also very impressed with, except they only shoot vertical. You can't shoot landscape.
That stinks.
So,
the way to mount them, go to filmtools.com and search for vacuum suction cups. The vacuum ones. Those are the really good ones.
Yeah, we use them. Larry Chen still uses them for all of his
that's
crazy
what anyone
stuff.
who is serious about doing this uses those. And you just need to have a clean surface. Bad Gardener says, did Chevy and other American manufacturers only make one car at a time in the 50s, 60s? Seems normal for people to say a 56 Chevy or whatever, and I have no idea what they're referring to. No, that's funny.
It's really funny.
No, they didn't, but they usually only made one collectible car at a time. So if someone says a 56 Chevy, it's usually understood to be a Bel Air or something. But no, that's funny. They did make like a lot of different versions of the same fucking car.
They did. So I looked up, I typed in 1956 Chevrolet, and what's funny is that the Google results, the top 5 were for Bel Airs, but here are the cars that they made in 1956.
So if you said a 56 Chevy, you could be one of 6 different variants of the Bel Air, the Bel Air Sport Coupe, the Nomad, the Cameo Carrier, which is the pickup truck, the Corvette, the 150. That is also the truck. That's a panel truck, pickup truck. The Suburban, the 2-ton, and then they had 3 or 4 different race cars. So they made fucking like 25 different cars.
But there was a lot under this Bel Air umbrella.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. That's a funny question.
Wouldn't Jesus take the wheel? The other night I saw one of those new BMWs with the enormous kidney grills out with the outline illuminated. Yep, that's the electric ones. How many more model refresh cycles do you think it's going to be until all these over-the-top LED lighting elements go the way of the floating roof designs? Never.
I don't think they're going to go away for a while.
Never.
It started with Mercedes had the first LED badge, and I remember it was like a $12,000 option.
Yeah.
It was not 12, it's $1,200, and now the whole grill is lit up. Ford trucks are doing it. Everyone's doing it to announce to someone, this is what I'm driving.
Triggered the lib. Oh, great. Where did you get that gray jacket? I don't know what gray jacket is being referred to.
You've got like a Mr. Rogers, but like a nicer looking. It's like a sport coat sweater.
Oh, the sweatshirt blazer.
Yes.
Faherty. That's from Faherty, and it comes in like 5 different colors. Mr. Nailhead says, "Oh, sorry, that one. Nah, that. Thank you, but not relevant to the show today." Okay. Man, people are asking me about cars I've never driven. 3 days of graceful racing. Never driven the Mazda CX-70 or 90. Sorry. Chris from Colorado. Once P. Cody is released, can you get someone on the team to join you on the podcast to go through every car in detail and how they stack up against each other?
With respect to Chris from Colorado, isn't that what the article is for? I'm not trying to be a jerk, but like that's exactly what they do. And the article for P. Cody is long and very
it's like
thorough.
25 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is what it is. If someone's in LA, I'm the only road and track writer that lives in LA. So someone would have to be here. The Driving Emotion says, with the Bolt coming back next year, is there any hope of the Volt making a comeback? Probably. Don't know. Not with GM's concept. Fucking GM's just had a fire at their
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
In Pasadena.
Oh.
Like today or yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah. A concept car caught on fire in the building. The original report said that the whole building burned down, but it did not. It was apparently one concept car caught on fire, and
one concept car was lost.
Yeah. The Volt was great. They should come back. Waymo hand jobs from women I hardly know. What's more annoying? A person that assumes you must be a douche if you drive a high-end sports car, or a person with no track experience that asks you what was your top speed only to look disappointed at whatever number you say? The first. The first is more annoying. Not everybody who drives a nice car is a douche. And most people don't understand the concept of track speed versus, most people just want to hear a big number.
Yeah.
Just when that happens, here's the problem. The problem is someone says, what's the fastest? You know what they want. Just give them a big fucking number.
Sure.
Make it up.
Yeah.
How fast did you go? 212. Okay. End of conversation. Rolex LT Lariat King Ranch. I'm looking at $1,000-ish watches. Obviously, Notice is a reputable micro brand. How do you know what other brands are good quality, or do you go by the movement and hope it's a quality piece? Dude, there's so many online communities that talk about this shit constantly. Like there's Watch Crunch, there's Reddit watches, there's any number of if anyone's still using Facebook, I don't know, but sub communities, and watch review. There's reviews by professionals that I don't know how someone writes 2,500 words on a watch, but they'd find a way. And there's a million ways to find out if a watch is good quality. The very best way is to ask about their return policy and buy one, or to go find a place to try it on. Any of those shows, the Intersect show. Dude, this past couple of weeks, there's been 7 watch shows all over the country. There's Wind Up Watch Week in New York. There's a Watch something in Austin.
I think Intersect has an Austin show. Someone mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's I don't know where you're writing in from, but there's a million. Anyone who buys a micro brand watch, I guarantee you, 8 out of 10, they're on a fucking forum, and they're gonna show off their new watch and review it. Oh, and you search for one, see what people are saying about it, and then if if it passes the internet approval test of this isn't a complete piece of shit, you buy one. You ask about their return policy. And if it doesn't feel right in your hands, it's got to sit right, it's got to look right, on you. You return it, get something else. Yeah. Green Elephant for Zach got an 03 Crown Vic in light blue, super clean, previous Boomer owner. Should I leave it alone or dump some money making it an Interceptor detective-looking car with bumpers, or leave it stock in chrome?
I thought I was going to have to put all the cop stuff on it. I bought a detective spec. It did not have, the push bumpers. And I thought no one's going to think I'm a cop and get out of the way on the highway. I was wrong. My car looked stock. I think I put an antenna on the back that did nothing. If you do that and you drive with authority, people will think you're a police officer. So don't put, because the bumpers are cool to see, but you add a foot to the length of the vehicle, which trust me, you don't need. So parallel parking that thing sucks already. You don't need to deal with that. Keep it, leave it alone. It'll be easier to sell, and everyone's going to think you're a police chief.
The Count of Monte Carlo, 2019 and 20 Vantages are depreciating quickly. Does your perspective on them change at $75,000 with low miles versus the $150,000 they sold for when new? The same, I feel the same way about them then and now, because my argument against them then was that the AMG GT was a better version of the fucking same car, and those are $75,000. Like, if you think you might want a Vantage for $75,000, you probably want an AMG GT, actually.
Yes.
It's a better driving car.
Interior is way nicer.
Yeah. The current Vantage is rad.
Yes.
And when those are $75,000, I'll recommend them. No, I recommend them new. But yeah, the problem is that their biggest competitor has depreciated right alongside them. So I mean, if it's your dream car, it's not a shit box. It's fine, but they've done a really good job with the Vantage between 2019 and now.
Yeah, I think that generation of Vantage, the one generation ago, missed on so many points, and that the AMG GT succeeded on. You're basically buying an Aston badge, but you're getting an inferior car, in my opinion.
Yeah. Last one, and then we'll save the rest for the next show because I can feel my brain slipping. Hotbox the Waymo. Scroll down, please. Says, I've been going through my dad's stuff since he passed away and came across some Porsche aftermarket parts catalogs and magazines from the 70s. Is there a market for this stuff? There's that show, the Lit Show. There's a show every year in LA called the Lit Show, and it's literally short for literature. And it's all Porsche books, magazines, but there's also like parts and service manuals and stuff. I mean, I don't know how one, other than physically being there, would sell things at the Lit Show, but like there is a market because people do go to this show and buy stuff. But I would say, I don't know, eBay maybe. And there's at the end of that, donation to the lounge. Great thought. A lot of people send us stuff. Lounge ain't that big.
Yeah, there's a lot of books in this place.
There's too many books, and we're having a bigger lounge at the new place, so some of them are going to be in there. But please don't send us any more books. We have too many coffee table books or magazines and stuff. We can't do it.
One of the shelves is literally bending off the wall.
Yeah, we had to take books off of it because of that. Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. I hope my brain functioned at a reasonably appropriate level. I'm not going to keep talking. I'm going to end this one now because my brain is obviously, after 20 fucking hours of traveling, not up to it anymore. But I appreciate you all, and we'll see you later. Bye.